Friday, Q&A, Fanmail, lovely. I have a couple of small package and I believe a letter that was foretold in legend. So let's see, news. Not a whole lot of news. I'm still going to be attending GCC here in about 2 weeks and UMBC 2 weeks after that. I do plan to attend Brick Cascade in May. Still don't know about my trip to Europe, waiting on dates. Still tentatively planning a trip to Australia. Answer some questions. Michael Nimrod, have you read the Silmarillion? No, but I have read the Silmarillion. It's one of my favorite books. I used to make a point of trying to read it at least once a year. I have fallen behind on that. I think I now have a French copy of it, which I don't read French enough to be able to read it, and I should learn that French. I feel to be something, I'd like to learn more French again. Windbreaker Gaming. What is your opinion on Swedish Fish? I don't know that I've ever had a Swedish Fish, so I can't say that I have an opinion on it. What is your opinion on caffeine? I rarely drink caffeine. One of the reasons I like root beer is most root beer doesn't have caffeine, and the ones that do, I don't drink it for the caffeine. I don't drink coffee, I don't drink a lot of caffeinated tea, I drink very little caffeinated soda anymore. I used to drink a lot of Mountain Dew, and I haven't touched it in years, like 10 years. So yeah, not a caffeine drinker. Would you try a sip of a Swedish Fish energy drink? Oh, I'd try a sip, but just for philosophical reasons. Knowledge Cast. Would you ever come to Florida for an HVZ? Only if it was held in winter. I'm definitely not going to Florida during the summer to run around in a bunch of gear. But maybe. It would depend on all of the details. So if you know of one, by all means, send me the information and we can think about it. Daniel Rao. When will you be coming to Lewiston on a day that we can hang out together? I have no idea. I don't have any plans to be in Lewiston, in that area, anytime soon. So, Emerald, do you have any video game soundtracks you really enjoy in particular? No. The only one that even comes to mind is Medieval Total War 2. There's a couple of tunes in there that just rattle around in my head pretty much constantly. But other than that, I can't think of any. There was a song on the Warcraft. I believe it was, if you put the game disc into a CD player, there was a hidden track that I rather enjoy. But other than that, no, I can't think of any. Bruce Mountain. Did you see the YouTube video where Joel Creates made a self-shooting Nerf dart? I did, actually. And arguably it's just a really small dart launcher as opposed to the dart itself launching itself. But I thought it was cool anyway. It was neat to just walk up and ping, dart goes flying. I thought that was clever, that was creative. DM, what is the story behind the ubiquitous Maverick? So the word ubiquitous means is present everywhere. And since pretty much every Goodwill I ever went into, there was always at least a Maverick in there somewhere, I started referring to it as the ubiquitous Maverick because I enjoy occasionally being rather sesquipedalian. Google that one. John Murcott. Did you ever get around to brassing a Stampede? No. No, it's still on the list somewhere. I still have the kit that was sent to me by the Germans somewhere. Phoenix693. What are your thoughts on turning a Ghostbuster Proton Blaster into a Rival Blaster? Well, I mean, if you made it literally just re-barreled it for Rival, that would be hilarious. My plan has been for quite some time to take one of those and make it into a Proton Pack. Make it feed from a Proton Pack, since that is where that term comes from. The term Proton Pack as a backpack-fed Rival Blaster is a reference to Ghostbusters. And originally I was going to use the old 1983 blaster to make one just because it would look absolutely ridiculous. But I did find a newer, more modern, you know, stick. I can't remember what they're called for the life of me now. That I'm considering. I think I might be able to fit a Jupiter in it, question mark. If that doesn't work out, I will probably go to the marshmallow one, though I probably won't use one of the originals. I believe I have one of the new blue ones that was re-released here somewhere. I think I picked it up from Brett. It could be anywhere at this point. It could be any of 1,000 bins. I think I've got 3 of the old originals, so I might not feel too bad about sacrificing one. Snow Fox Cosplays. What are your thoughts on a modded Strife with an Alpha Hawk barrel as an attachment for the Strife? I think that would be really cool. I dig it. Do it. Send me pictures. Take that! Ha-ha! But then just scare Swamp Cat. The Hunter. What would be your opinion on a blaster with the P90 form factor and loading feeding mechanism? Well, I am not a fan of the P90 form factor in general, and I feel that the reloading mechanism would be far more cumbersome than a standard under-barrel magwell. So, not my cup of tea, not something I'm remotely interested in, but for people who are a huge fan of the P90, and I know there is a great following of the P90, that'd be cool to see. There's a couple that are kind of there, and I know at least one person who's trying to develop one that actually, even the magazine even feeds like a P90 magazine, but I haven't heard anything about him in a while. Phantom Zone Minecraft. Would you consider doing a Nerf budget build series with a $30 budget? Probably not, because unless you're making a lot of assumptions and giving yourself a lot of givens, $30 is a really low budget, because unless you're assuming that people already have all of the tools, which is not a fair assumption, you'd need to buy a screwdriver, you'd need to buy the blaster, because that doesn't say that it's included. So even if you're getting your blaster at Goodwill, which to get anything under 30 bucks you'd pretty much have to, you're still looking at that taking up a fifth to a third of your budget, because Goodwill prices have been steadily rising. And at that point, pretty much the only thing you have money for is a spring from Out of Darts. And that wouldn't make for a very interesting series. Plus, I'd have to buy a lot of screwdrivers. You might be able to also get... Well, no, because if you were going to brass the barrel on something, you're going to need to buy the brass, and you're going to need the tools for working with the brass, which increases the cost significantly, because you're going to need something to cut the brass, something to clean up the brass. You're probably going to need to route out the barrel so that you can fit the brass in, and now you're way over budget for anything. Same thing if you tried to do flywheelers. I mean, yeah, you could get like a pair of rhinos, honey badgers, for that much, but wiring, solder, a soldering iron, screwdriver, again, unless you're assuming they already have all of the tools, it really doesn't. There is a cost to get into this hobby, unfortunately. I like the idea, and that's kind of what I did with the K26 and beyond, where I started with the simplest, cheapest, and then worked my way up. And I don't know that I would ever want to set the $30 budget, but I would like to do K26 and beyond again. At which point, you know, if I don't know if I included costs when I did that, and that would be something that would be a valuable thing to include. Is okay, here's the simplest you can do: throw a spring in. The spring costs this much plus the cost of tools. Okay, well, I brass the barrel. Here's how much the materials cost plus the cost of tools, and do that as part of K26 and beyond. That I think would be a viable series. And I would like to do that. Fruity! What's your opinion on mounting a Nerf blaster to a tricycle and using it as a technical? I love this idea. Alternatively, using the Nerf pedal bike things. The Nerf, I don't remember what they were called now. I've got 2 of them. But mounting something on that would also be hilarious, because you really can't get those things up to enough speed to really hurt somebody. I mean, you could club them in the ankle and it'd be annoying, but if you're not capable of getting out of the way of that thing, you had other issues, I feel. Tricycles being, direct pedal on the front wheel, there's only so much you can get out of them as far as speed and power. And so I would be willing to allow that in a lot of situations. I don't know that, I mean, obviously an HVZ wouldn't for legal reasons, but if you were at an event where that could be done safely, and like the real trick would that you'd need to be on a surface that you could actually ride a tricycle on. But I like it. I think that is the point at which you could have a vehicle be safe. So I dig it. I dig it. Obviously, whoever's running the event would have to approve it. My opinion doesn't really matter, but I think it would be cool. Ben Mayo, have you ever thought of making a duck-themed helmet? I have not, but Sergeant Deplorable does have a goose-themed helmet. Made by the same guy who made my kind of cat-themed helmet that I use for events, so there is one out there. The Cybermedic. Which do you prefer, full length or short darts? Yes. For, like, competitive, any kind of remotely competitive, even on my arena, we pretty much all use short darts at this point. There is a couple of things where we use full length darts, but most of it's gone to short darts at this point. For, like, casual public wars, I tend to go full length, just because it's simpler. And it's easier to find blasters that are under the FPS, whereas a lot of my half-dart blasters are a little bit spicy. For my HVZ loadout, I have full-length, half-dart, and rival, so I don't have a preference of one over the other. It really depends on what I'm doing and what's going on, so. Could you share the files you used for your minigun barrel? No. Those were given to me by RE Armory with the understanding that they would only be used for personal builds. If not, do you have any tips for building a barrel similar? Well, the barrels themselves are just PVC pipe. I got black PVC pipe from Home Depot. And then some of the files, the simpler stuff is what's holding the barrels together. That's easy. You could make that out of sheet plastic or easily design something in 3D printed. The complicated part of that is the part that's actually making the barrels rotate, as there's gears and collets and all sorts of stuff involved in that, and it had to be custom made to fit onto the front of the blaster I used. It was originally intended to go onto the front of a Vulcan. The whole Vulcan front barrel easily comes off, and this was designed to just drop right in and replace it, but I didn't use a Vulcan, and so I had to have it custom built. Looking back, it probably would have been easier to use a Vulcan for a number of reasons, in hindsight, of course. But I wanted it to look like a minigun, and I'd already started anyway. But you can always reach out to RE Armory. I don't know if he still sells that kit, or if he ever just sold the files. You might be able to get them from him. But not from me, unfortunately. Dorpy. With all the amazing mods you can 3D print these days, do you know what someone without a 3D printer can do to acquire such mods? Well, a lot of the various 3D printed blasters and mod parts are sold by various people. Silver Fox Industries sells a lot of the higher end blasters and has the best print quality of anybody in the hobby. Followed probably neck and neck with Out of Darts, who also sells a lot of 3D printed parts and a lot of 3D printed blasters, full blasters, things like, obviously the Jupiter, but also a lot of the Springers are sold by Out of Darts as well. Foam Deck sells 3D printed blasters. Frontline Foam sells 3D printed blasters. There's a couple of others. Also, there are services available online that if you provide the files, they can print stuff for you, for a cost, of course. Cost of materials and time and shipping and all of that. Probably more depending on how many parts are involved and what materials you want them made out of and all of that, of course. But you can just get things 3D printed. I think Thingiverse even has a mechanism where you can connect to people who have printers who are willing to print on commission. Some of the other people that I mentioned are also willing to do custom stuff sometimes. Again, you'd have to reach out to them to get to the details. And there's a lot of stuff also, 3D printed parts available on like Etsy. Some of them of dubious origin. They may or may not actually have the license to print what they're printing because no one that I know of has patents on their 3D prints, and so if someone can get a hold of the files, either they buy the files. That's usually intended to only allow you to print it for yourself, not for commercial use. And a lot of the stuff on Thingiverse says not for commercial use, but there's no one really enforcing that. The Creative Commons license is kind of an industry handshake agreement. It's not necessarily legally binding, so be aware of that. Make sure you check the sources on where something's coming from. But the big ones are usually fairly safe. Silver Fox and Out of Darts for sure. So yeah, that's what you can do. Telemachus 2814. Do you plink on your range for fun? I do occasionally go out and just plink for fun. I have some blasters that I genuinely just enjoy plinking with. They're just enjoyable to actually use, and so I will just occasionally go out and plink. Though the vast majority of it, I go ahead and film it. And that's kind of how Range Day came about. It was, I want to just go plink with these blasters, but I might as well film it and show them off. But occasionally it's like, nah, I just want to go plink. I don't want to make a video about this. I just want to go have fun and plink. So, yeah, I do occasionally. Dustin Bergen. If an auxiliary member wanted to attend an event that you're going to but doesn't have Discord and doesn't want to get Discord, is there an alternative way to coordinate and meet up at the event? Short answer, no. Not if you want the full auxiliary experience and all of the things that we offer. We decided that we just did not have the bandwidth or the time or the energy or the space to be dealing with multiple platforms. And so we just, no, it's all on Discord. If you want the whole experience, you have to go through Discord. However, if I've announced that I'm going to an event and you just show up and find me, I'm easy to find, I'm loud and surrounded by an army. You can always just show up, and if it depends on what you're after. If you just want to show up and say, hi, hello, I'm so-and-so, cool, nice to meet you, by all means, show up and say hello. If you're wanting to run with us, that can be arranged. We have picked up people on the fly at events when someone else wasn't able to attend and somebody volunteers like, hey, can I join you? And you're like, sure. Again, you may not get the full experience. We're not going to have dog tags for you. We're not going to have, other amenities that may or may not be offered through the full auxiliary experience. But, I mean, you can always track us down. Odds are you'll get shunted into the ferals and used as zombie fodder, but you're welcome to show up. And finally, Showdown. What game platform are you partial to? I currently I only play on PC and my phone, but mostly on PC, and I'm very, very much a casual gamer. I play game like RPGs, not RPGs, real-time strategy games. Age of Empires, Medieval Total War, those are the kind of games that I mostly enjoy. I did enjoy Diablo back in the day, and Battlefront, and a lot of Star Wars games. My current game of, the only one that I play with anyone else is Elite Dangerous. The crew's law speaker and I will play. I'm actually hoping to have done so yesterday. This is actually being filmed on Thursday, so it's Thursday. I'm hoping I can reach out to him and get some time and space. The only other platform I ever really spent any time on was the PlayStation 2 back in high school, because I am a very old man. And I played Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2, which may surprise some of you because I almost never play. I've mentioned many times that I don't play first-person shooters because they make me motion sick. But I wanted to play that game so bad that I struggled through the motion sickness until it finally got to the point that it didn't bother me as much. I assume just because I got used to the movement. And split screen, when I play, I would almost exclusively, again, play with my younger sister. We would play Battlefront together. Split screen didn't give me as much trouble as playing it by myself on a full screen, so who knows. But that's pretty much it. Casual PC gaming. Ha-ha! I hit! Ha-ha-ha! Right, I'm going to open package after these potential messages. Right, we're going to start with what I believe is a letter. This is the letter that was foretold last time. They were Goomies, and this appears to be the letter. It appears to be a complicated letter. This one is apparently for off-camera. These two are for other people, and apparently this one is for Captain Xavier. And it's been burned and bled, and that is just cool. That's neat. I do hope that's not real blood. Doesn't look like it. It'd have dried brown by now. Lord have mercy. We'll see if I can read this. Greetings, Captain. Though you have never met, I felt compelled to send this message with my sincerest thanks for reasons that will become clear. I write to you today from Ohio Valley Campaign in what was once Cincinnati. I am proud to send along news to other pockets of survivors that the Army of the Rust Belt Human Resistance, the RBHR, have been successful thus far in putting back the great Midwestern horde. However, this outcome was not a given. In fact, just 12 months ago, it seemed all the world was lost. Injuries were mounting, and illness was spreading among our troops. Morale was at the breaking point. At one point, it seemed all would be lost, and the horde would break our lines and spread clear through the Appalachians. However, at that moment, Providence smiled upon us. In our darkest hour, one of our communication specialists discovered a faint signal. Naturally, any signal is met with great interest in these trying times. But we soon realized how special this one was. It turned out that she had stumbled upon your broadcasts from the Western Front. Almost immediately, things began to turn around. Your insights on tactics, loadouts, and weapon repairs and modifications have resulted in a 421% decrease in injuries? What an arbitrary number. A 501 decrease in deaths, and a 1,138% increase in effectiveness. Most importantly, thanks to your wit and humor, morale is at the best it's been in years. The assembled men and women of the RBHR have discovered their purpose in life beyond mere survival. We have once again found things to fight for, rather than simply to fight against. For over a year now, we have all eagerly turned to your missives. Many of us have engaged in building a living system, a library system for trading records and broadcasts that were transmitted before our discovery of your fine work. There is even a push among many to make O Fortuna the official song of our forces. It's a great song, especially if you know what it actually means. The Latin, it's dark stuff. It's fabulous. As thanks, I am sending you provisions my troops and I discovered in what was once a local Amazon distribution hub. That would be a thing in the apocalypse now. Those would get raided so quick. We know your birthday will occur shortly before or after you receive this letter, and we thought a gift of sorts would be appropriate. The world being as it is now, I do not know whether it or this letter will reach you first, but I hope both will bring you some happiness. Should you one day find yourself at our forward position, it would be a great honor to introduce myself and extend my deepest gratitude, perhaps with an offering of our troops' favorite is that a cheese coney? A cheese coney or a four-way, either of which go marvelously with root beer. I have so many questions. Cadaver Adlend, Esquire? Nathan Roger Reese Fitzgerald, 1st Lieutenant, Cincinnati Contingent, Army of the Rust Belt Human Resistance. Sir, that is awesome. That is definitely one of the coolest letters I have received in a long time. Where are my gummies? I am now prepared to nom upon the gummies. Pineapple! Yum. These are such a fabulous goom. Ooh, strawberry. Well, should my travels ever bring me near Cincinnati, Was it near Cincinnati? Pretty sure. Cincinnati, yeah. I will, well, you'll know, because if I do travel, I always announce it, so that would be awesome. I would be honored to meet you, because that is cool. That is classy. That was fun. I'm glad I have a more easier red version. And I will now read this one off camera. None for you. None for you. Once again, it's letters like this that remind me why I keep doing this, and thank you very much. And I did catch 2 of the references. I caught the 501st and 1138. I didn't catch 421. So, what's up with that? And yeah, if I ever find myself in Cincinnati, I would absolutely love to share a chili dog and a root beer with you. I'm a huge fan of chili dogs. So, yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you very, very much. All right. One more goom. Ooh, there's that goom. A raspberry. Raspberry? Could be grape. I think it's grape. It's more purple than red. Nah. All right. Let's see what we got. I got one here that I'm curious about. I suspect it's something I'm supposed to review. But we'll find out. Probably. Seems to be... I thought they already sent me this. One moment. They did. RS-30. So apparently I now have 2 RS-30s. Both of them in tan. I'll have to figure out what's going on here. Hopefully 2 different people didn't send me the same thing. That would be embarrassing. Anyway, more package. I suspect these ones are offerings from Sparky the Saint. Aha! Enjoy your birthday! Gifts from Sparky! Sure enough! Ooh, Nexonites! I think he may have already sent me that one. Ooh, I definitely didn't have this one. Cool. Ooh, I dig it. Oh, I think I saw somebody use this particular minifig for a really cool figure, so that is awesome. And then this one has parts and some colors and stuff that I do in fact use. So, what do we got here? Another one. We have more Nexonites. A gift. Enjoy. I assume it's more from Sparky. We have another figure that I definitely didn't have. That is pretty cool. And what to the world looks like a strange medieval cyberpunk flat cannon. That is awesome. That is awesome. And again, parts that I can definitely use in a number of things. So, most excellent. Thank you ever so much, sir. I'll have to get around to opening these on my Lego channel if I can find the time. So, all right. Well, as always, you spoil me. You are wonderful people. I enjoy reading your questions, and I always enjoy the gifts and the goomies. Yum. And as always, thank you guys for watching.